Yeah, sorry, my hair is fucking shit.
Sorry, I'm just trying to get you.
It's fucking shit. My hair is like one of the one things.
You gotta come fucking do mine too. What?
I might as well just go bald. It's okay. It's not live. If it gets out of control, just let me know. I'll fix it.
What is this?
You can rip it out. Yeah.
Hold on. There we go.
Thank you.
Oh, the coffee. That is a white one. Okay.
I've used my beard hair as floss before in a pinch. Works pretty well.
If I were to have a podcast. If I were to have a podcast.
Hello and welcome to another episode of If I Were to Have a Podcast. We are here at 41st Studios in the coffee area at 41st Studios, and I'm here with Dan. Dan, introduce yourself.
I am Dan.
This is going to be like one of the first podcasts you're going to be on.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm Dan. I'm usually not in front of the camera. I'm the lead editor of 41st Casanova Productions and co-owner of this beautiful space we have.
Beautiful, wonderful,
Yeah, beautiful.
wonderful. Yeah. So Dan, what the hell are we doing today?
So we're doing a cupping.
What's
Coffee cupping.
Oh, coffee
Oh, yes.
cupping. Okay.
So we are
So we're
doing.
not measuring anything. We're just
Yes.
It's not that kind of cupping.
No, it's not that.
All right, good.
No,
good.
that's
because it's
for
a little
the
cold in the studio right now.
That's for the after show. That's
Okay.
for the after show.
All right. Dan, after
So,
work. All right.
a coffee cupping. So usually when you drink coffee, there's a lot of variables that go into drinking a coffee, like how you make it. There's a lot of human error. So a cupping is pretty much the least human-prone, like error-prone way to taste a coffee. How it really, really tastes.
Okay. So it's kind of
Because as you brew coffee, you can brew it, pour over or French press or siphon. But when you drink the coffee, it's like you don't know how much of it's the coffee and how much of it is how it was brewed.
Okay.
So this is a very kind of like base level of how to taste what the coffee actually tastes like.
So it's kind of coffee in its purest form, you would say.
I guess. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you could say that.
A little foolproof.
Yeah. It
'cause I am a
pretty much
fool.
has, you measure two things and then, you just let it do the rest. And then you're just left with a beautiful tasting experience. Hopefully beautiful. We'll see.
Well, it certainly smells beautiful.
Yes.
So what do we got set up here?
So right now, this will be a blind tasting for Gerry. I know which one of these is which. We have 6 different kinds of coffee. Some are grocery store brand, and some are from local roasters from around the area. But he doesn't know which one's which. I do. So it's going to be a very interesting experience. I set them up in a specific way. They'll kind of just be like a journey through these tastes.
I like a good journey.
I'm excited.
I
excited
can,
to get this started.
I think I can already tell which ones are grocery store and which ones are fresh.
We'll see.
Just by looking at them. Yeah.
We'll
So
see.
yeah,
We'll
I'm
see.
excited to do this because I've never been a part of a tasting before. I've never been a part of like a wine tasting, or I've never been a part of like a coffee tasting or anything like that. So this is going to be my first. It's my first time. I'm so nervous.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. I did my first tasting online during COVID. Famous YouTuber James Hoffman. He has a roastery in the UK.
Okay.
And he sent out, you're able to buy these little tiny packets. You just get 5 beans. It was a blind tasting. You have A, B, C, D, E. And then live on YouTube, you just did a live tasting with like him and thousands and thousands of other people around the world. And I really, really love that experience of just going through and noting, all the notes and different tastes that you get with coffee. And it was just fun to do it with other people too.
Yeah.
But so I've done these a few times, so this will be fun to
Nice.
do it for your first time.
Yeah.
Even though half of this is not great quality coffee. That's the fun of it. Yeah. That's the fun of it.
That's kind of cool that that happened like during COVID.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a cool, unique way to get people together.
It was a nice, that's pretty much what a lot of people talked about. It was just a very nice morning of just like, hey, I'm tasting the same coffee as, this person in, Uganda is tasting right now who's part of this. And it was just like a really cool experience.
Nice.
But so I'm going to reboil my the water real quick, and then I'll kind of walk you through the process.
Yeah. Let's do it. So are we allowed to say not which one is which, but do we have a list of like the coffee brands that we have in front of us?
We
do you
can
want to
do
just
it in
keep
post.
Okay. All right. See, look at all these beans. These beans, wonderful beans.
Look at them all move around.
Yes, look at them. Look at them. Look at them all. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, so we will, no, so I think it'll be fun to make the audience also just kind of have a blind tasting first. Have us kind of, as we go through them, we'll kind of explain what we're tasting.
Okay.
And then at the end, we'll do kind of like a reveal of, what all the coffees are. So I thought that would be fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is this going to be like when they set up that fake wine testing for like sommeliers, and they're just like, "Hey, this is going to be this Pinot Noir is from 1957, and like, taste it. Let me tell me the notes." And they're like, "Oh my god, this is so good." But in reality, it was like Trader Joe's $7 bottle of wine.
I was going to make a joke that one of these is a Dunkin's from 2010, but no, I wouldn't do that to you.
A nice vintage, you would say.
I did.
Yes.
I did have a vintage cup once. I didn't cup it, but I did brew it with a pour over. It was 2018. I did it, and the best by date on it was 2011. It was just regular dunks. Whole bean though. I got lucky on that. It wasn't pre-ground, and it tasted like wood. It was disgusting.
You should have brought it.
I do not have it anymore.
So it's not that one right there? All right.
It is not. No, it is not any of these.
And none of this is rat poison, right? You're not trying to kill me.
No,
Okay.
because I'm drinking it too.
Okay. I'll let you take the first step.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So basically, right now we have 12 grams of coffee in each cup, and we're going to be pouring in about 200 milliliters of water.
Okay.
And that's a good ratio of like coffee and water to do cupping. Usually you would brew a little stronger, but when you brew lighter, it just kind of like releases more notes, at least for cupping.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start kind of doing that right now.
All right. Take her away.
Yes, sir.
So what's that one?
This is number 1.
That's number 1. Ooh.
So all I'm doing is just pouring the coffee, kind of trying to.
Is this the standard like measurement for a cupping cup? Like if people were to do this at home, what would you recommend for like measurements and stuff
I'd
like
say
that?
this is pretty standard. I've seen a lot of people mention like 200 milliliters of water, so it seems like it's pretty standard. But as long as you have the right ratio, you can do it with whatever amount. This is the thrilling part, I know.
So thrilling.
Might actually.
I'm gonna say that one is the Dunkin' Donuts dark roast or rat poison.
That's number 3.
Number 3. Okay. Number 3.
Might actually have to reboil some water real quick.
Okay.
So we got all that coffee. That's fine.
So that's definitely not Dunkin' Donuts. That is one of the locals.
So what you're seeing right now is the coffee blooming.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll describe that in just a moment. Yes, I do need to reboil real quick.
Okay, reboil from the top. It looks good. Smells kind of good. Beautiful. Wonderful. Yeah, so while Dan's doing that, I'm going to talk about today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is us. We are today's sponsor because we're here at beautiful 41st Studios here in Drake, Massachusetts. Yeah, we're in the coffee bar area.
Yes, sir.
Yes, for obvious reasons. Yes. And yeah.
Yeah. So when I was pouring, you might have seen like bubbles coming out.
I did, yeah.
And that's called the coffee's blooming. So when you roast the coffee, you get natural gases that get introduced and produced by the coffee and by the roasting process. And as you introduce hot water to it, it just releases all that gas. So usually when you're brewing a cup for yourself, you would ideally want to put in about a fourth or fifth of your total brew size and put it on first, and then just let the coffee just bloom.
Okay.
I typically let it bloom for about 30 seconds, and then I continue to do the rest.
Yeah, I've seen pour overs be poured before, and
Yeah, if you get like a really fresh coffee, like it
Yeah.
sometimes like blooms, like you get like big bubbles.
yeah, I have a couple machines at home that I have, and I do notice that with fresher stuff, it
Yep.
actually blooms, which and you can always tell that it's fresher because of that.
for sure. I can
some
tell
of
you
these-
that that 10-year-old Dunk's coffee did not bloom at all.
Did not bloom.
I've never seen a coffee not bloom just a little bit. That did not bloom at all.
Beautiful.
It was like vacuum sealed too. It wasn't
Yeah.
it wasn't even open at all. I'm pretty sure it was vacuum sealed. So that gas escaped one way or the other. I've never seen that happen before. That was an experience. I
broke down into
I think
something else.
I think I live posted about it on Facebook once.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna do it. Should I do it? And all my friends were like, Daniel, do
do
not
it,
do
Dan.
that. I'm like, I'm gonna do it. And then I have like live comment feeds on me, like, I'm doing it. I like posted a picture of me brewing it, and then I'm like, I'm gonna do it. And then like you can see like a pause in the comments for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I just went back and like, this is the worst tasting coffee I've ever tasted in my
Now-
life.
Did you finish the cup?
No. No, God no.
Was it just one sip and you were done?
It was a 2-sipper.
Okay.
I wanted to make sure I got the full experience, so I sipped it twice.
Nice.
Yeah, it was not a good experience. I would not recommend anybody do that. Absolutely not.
Now, how'd you feel after?
I mean, I felt pretty good.
Pretty
because
good, yeah?
I knew I would never have to do that ever again. My curiosity was like, gone. I'm
Yeah.
like, I did it. I can move on, and I'm never going to do that again.
So you weren't like physically ill?
No.
Okay.
No, usually, if it's packaged properly, it's like eating Kraft macaroni and cheese from like 20 years ago. It's like it's not going to kill you, but it won't taste very good. So, yeah, it was kind of that situation.
Nice. So how long do we have to let these sit for?
So, these are going to sit for 4 minutes. So, technically these are about at that time right now.
Okay.
So, I'm going to pour the other two of these.
Yep.
And then I'll kind of start stopping the brewing process on these actually.
Okay.
So the water is boiling.
All right. And which brand is this one?
This is brand number 5.
Yeah, again, I feel like I can tell which ones are local and which aren't.
And then last one.
That one, again, is definitely a fresh bag.
It might be fresh, or it just might be a lighter roast.
Ah, that's a good point.
'Cause that can definitely
That is a good point.
change the color. Wow, that smells
Yeah.
delicious.
All right, so that one's definitely local.
Hey, I enjoy I
Uh-oh.
made a little mess. That's fine. Okay, so I'm going to restart my timer for those two.
Okay.
So now we're going to stop the brewing process by stirring it a couple times and then letting all the coffee kind of fall to the bottom.
Okay.
Take a spoon and just stir it. That's it. I've got some rinse cups right here. Just stir it.
So while everything's sitting at the top, that's how it brews?
Yes.
And then when you knock
Yeah,
them down?
A lot of the
okay.
coffee naturally kind of falls to the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
but this makes sure it just absolutely stops brewing. So while we're during the cupping, the coffee stays at the bottom. So throughout the whole thing, the coffee will be at the bottom. So that's why we're going to be using
Small
spoons,
sips?
and
Okay.
not like
Yeah.
taking the sand and just downing it.
I've had Turkish coffee before, where they keep like the
Ooh,
grounds at the bottom of it,
yeah.
and I wasn't warned my first time having it, and I just
Wait, I was with you with that, wasn't I?
I think you were. Yeah, we
that
were
was
down in Florida.
Golden
yeah.
Gate or that place was
yes, the
yeah.
the something gate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. I don't think I've ever actually had a Turkish coffee.
it was
I've
good.
had Vietnamese coffee before. That was an
Yeah.
interesting experience. I had it with just the coffee itself, and then I had to have it with condensed milk. 'Cause that's how they.
Oh,
have
yeah.
their-
Okay,
their-
yeah, I've heard of
their
that, yeah.
coffee. And I gotta say, I've never actually opened a thing of condensed milk before. I didn't realize it was kind of like a goopy thing. I thought it was like liquid. And I'm like, wow, this is like icing on a cake almost.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was just really.
Yeah, I've never
interesting
had
for me.
condensed milk. Yeah.
No, it was like cake icing, just kind of like, wow. So yeah, so while we're waiting for these two to kind of finish brewing, so we're gonna wait now for about 10 minutes because when coffee is like really, really hot, it actually just hides all the flavors.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if you've ever eaten like really hot food, you're not focused on what flavor you're tasting. You're focusing on how
Your mouth is burning on fire.
on
It's
fire.
peeling off the top layer of your
Yes.
skin.
Yeah. So,
got it.
so typically, you know, you would want to, anytime you have a coffee, you would want to wait, you know, 5 to 10 minutes for it to cool down a little bit. So
Yeah, with my
whenever-
machine at home, I have a Mocha Master from Technivorm.
Yep.
And that's what I do. I leave it sit for like 6 minutes because
Yep.
you can noticeably taste the difference after.
Right. Yeah. It's like getting you go to Dunks and get a hot coffee when I don't know if they still do foam cups anymore, but if you got a hot coffee, it would be hot for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't taste anything. It's
Yeah.
like, this just tastes like pain.
Is that why I don't like Dunkin' Donuts that much? Is because I'm
I think there's
an
a lot of
impatient
reasons
person
why we don't
and-
like Dunkin' Donuts.
Name 7 of them right now. Number 1, go.
I don't know.
All right. Good points. Good points. Very good points. That brings us to today's second sponsor, which is Liquid Death. They don't know they're a sponsor yet, but you know what?
Surprise.
Give us Liquid Death because we drink it on camera.
Surprise sponsor.
Surprise sponsor. Do we want to talk about the local roasters while we're waiting? 'Cause I know who they are. I don't know which of these cups they are though. Because I would say that
Yeah,
our
you can
third
talk
sponsor
about-
today, our third sponsor
You can talk about
today
the first one.
is,
Yeah. Talk about the local one. One's not so local, but it's New England. But you can talk about the first
local
one.
Yeah, so today's third sponsor is Brewed Awakening Coffee House of Lowell, Massachusetts. So shout out to Andy for the bag of beans.
Thank
Much
you.
appreciated.
Very appreciated. Smelled really good, delicious. Can't wait to taste that one.
Which one is that? All right, and Dan, who's the other roaster?
So the other bag of beans, and I'm only saying this because you already know, is from Tandem, and they are based out of Portland, Maine. They have a wide variety of beans that they can send out. They have a subscription model, and they roast them in-house, and they have a nice little bakery in Portland, too. And it's
Nice.
just a really nice place. And, man, they've been my daily driver for probably 5-6 years at this point, just because of, like, really how consistent they've been.
Nice. Yeah, I remember one year for Christmas, you actually gave us a bag of beans from Tandem, and it was tasty. I can see why they're your daily driver. Mine is Brewed Awakening of Lowell, because they're the best local roaster around Lowell, and yeah. But yeah, that Tandem stuff was really good.
So now I'm going to scrape just kind of the scrum that's kind of on the top of the bean, on the coffee.
Okay.
Because we don't want to taste that. So I'm going to just kind of do that right now. Excuse my reach.
I'll let you get in there.
Switch my water out.
So why don't we want to drink that?
It would just be very bitter. It'd be a very bitter, not pleasant experience to drink this.
But it looks so tasty.
I mean, it's called crema espresso. No, it's completely different. These are just kind of leftover bits. This is the thrilling part of the podcast.
So thrilling.
Very thrilling.
So do you do this every day? You don't cup every day? What do you what's your daily process for coffee?
So my daily driver is a V60 pour over.
Okay.
It's pretty consistent. During the summer, I like to do an iced pour over, and then during the winter, it kind of tosses and turns between doing a pour over and then doing a coffee with the AeroPress, which is a really fun brewing method of pretty much brewing coffee in a little cylinder, and then you
Okay.
press it down to go into the cup. and that's a lot of fun. And it just makes a good cup too.
Yeah.
And it's very quick too, and like very little cleanup. You know, their filters are very, very small.
Nice. Yeah, I've never actually made a pour over myself. Like I said, I have the Mocha Master, so
Right.
that kind of just mimics a pour over. And it's from Switzerland, Sweden, one of the S's. I don't know. It's a good quality machine. It's a good quality machine. Where the hell did you go? Oh, he's behind me. There he
Switching
is.
out the rinse water.
So, if I were to just down that cup right now of rinse water, what do you think would happen to me? I'll save that for the last cup, and I'll let you know the notes that I taste.
That's the last cup.
All right.
We have a special cup number 7.
All right.
That is all of them combined, but just with rinse water.
All right. I'll do it. I'll do it.
I'm sure you will.
I might not do it. I don't want to do it.
Please don't do it.
Looking at it now, it's
This only has 2 of them in here too. It's not even the full spectrum.
So, Dan, I want you to forget for a second that we have this podcast. And I want to ask you this question. Dan, if you were to have a podcast, what would it be? Yes. If you were to have a podcast, what would it be?
So, if I were to have a podcast, I think it would be really interesting to talk to people who have been involved with social media, smart devices, all that stuff, and moved away from it and moved to being offline and having things like flip phones. And it would just be really interesting to talk to people about their experience and what's changed about their life, because I've seen a lot of people, you know, there's actually a pretty decent movement now with millennials and Gen Zs that want to move away from that life of having smartphones, being always connected. And a lot of people have found out, like, wow, I'm picking up new hobbies. I'm like, you know, reading more. I'm figuring out that I love doing art instead of mindlessly scrolling on, you know, TikTok or Instagram.
Like 4 hours a day. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Like people don't really realize if they look at their screen time on their phone, it's like you don't think you are on your phone that much, but even, you know, you search for one thing and then all of a sudden you're on your phone for 20 minutes, and then that happens a couple times a day. And then that's hours that you could be, you know, learning another language or learning an instrument or something like that.
Yeah, I try to not do that, but I'm definitely guilty of it, especially at night when I can't sleep and just scrolling for like an hour and a half.
I think it's
Could be
something
reading, could be
we're all a
doing
little
something
guilty
else,
of it.
How's the experience been with the flip phone?
It has been great. I've only had this thing for about a week and a half, 2 weeks now. But so far, I still have my smartphone for work trips.
Yeah.
I have it for driving, GPS, music, and then when I go to the gym, it tracks my workouts. But other than that, being able to go out and not feel like I'm connected to everything at once. I saw someone use this phrase, like it always feels like the world was following you. Because at any time you could be
That's a good way to put
contacted
it,
about
yeah.
anything, get an email, Slack notification.
Yeah.
And, you know, at times during work trips when you're, you know, freelance, like you kind of have to be connected. But
Yeah.
at certain times, you kind of just want to step away from that stuff and just kind of focus on what you're doing at that moment.
I feel like it's a boost in the mental health. Like I feel like if I could, kind of to your point, you know, being a freelance, it's tough to get rid of it because
sure.
you have to stay in contact
Yeah,
with the
it's a
world, and you
balance.
have to be posting, you have to be checking to see what the latest trends are and all that stuff. But
It's
if I
definitely
could
a
throw my
balance.
smartphone out the window, I would throw it out the window.
I knew I had to
I
make
sound like a grumpy old man.
I knew I had to make a switch when I looked at my phone and just started feeling anxiety.
Yeah.
Like that was not even just because of work, but also just because of doom scrolling, you know, like, you know, things in the world aren't, you know, great. And then you go down rabbit holes and, you know, on the outside, it's like, it's not that bad. Like obviously there's still things going on and all that stuff. But when you get down into some rabbit hole of like, everything is terrible and like, you know, life's going to end and all that stuff, it kind of, you know, makes you not feel great. And so now I kind of started relating that to my smartphone, and it's like I need to stop.
Nice. So you feel happier?
I mean, I wouldn't use that word, but okay. So These have had enough time, I believe. So I'm going to stop my stopwatch now. So
All right. So yeah, what's going on with
we
this?
have a tasting sheet. So there are a few key metrics that people use for their tasting. We have aroma, acidity, sweetness, body, and finish. I'm going to go over these really quickly, and then we can begin the tasting. So aroma, first one, self-explanatory. How does it smell? Right? Does it smell pleasant? Does it smell strong? You know, does it smell of molasses? Does it smell fermented? That's just the aroma. And so you'll notice on this tasting sheet that it has quantity and quality. So you can go from low to high, light, heavy, short, long, and then there's quality. Quantity is how much of it is there, and then quality is your preference on do I like that or not. So some people, you know, enjoy dark roast.
Yeah.
So if they had a dark roast, it's like, wow, that aroma is really bold and dark. I love it. They would be high and plus. But for someone like me, I don't really like dark roast. So I can still say the aroma was quite bold and high, but the quality is low. So the quality is all on your preference.
Okay.
So that's aroma. How does it smell? Acidity is that's the interesting one that a lot of people really love or like they really hate. Because when they think acidic, a lot of people think sour. And those are kind of two different tastes. You kind of taste the acidity on the sides of your tongue. But you want to think of acidity as like just how kind of light is this? Acidity is more prominent in like light roasts than dark roasts. So again, acidity, low to high, and then how much of this do I enjoy? What's the quality of this acidity? Do I like how acidic I believe this is, or do I not like how not acidic it is? And then sweetness, that's self-explanatory. How sweet is it? A lot of people, when they see sweetness, they think of sugar, like candy, that kind of sweetness. But sweetness in coffee, and I feel like when you get to one of these, you'll be able to tell that's sweet. Because there's two different kinds of sweetnesses with coffee. It's like the natural sweetness that comes out of the coffee, and then like the moment you add some sugar into it, it's like a whole different kind of sweetness. It's know, like the artificial sweetness of it. So again, low to high sweetness, and then how much do I enjoy that on a scale of like 1 to 5. Body, I use the thing about skim and whole milk. That's a difference in body.
Okay.
So
that's a good way to put it,
it's milk. It may not taste like the same, but in general, it's the same taste. But skim milk has that light, very, very watery kind of body, and then whole milk just has that rich mouthfeel.
That's a good way to explain it.
Yeah. So you'll see that light roasts don't have a lot of body, and people find that enjoyable. Like I like my coffee really light, and then dark roast. If you brew things through French press that don't go through a paper filter, you'll get all the oils in it, and they'll create more and more body in your coffee, and then a lot of people enjoy that. So again, light, heavy, and then scale 1 to 5, and then finish is what are you left with after you swallow the coffee. So short finish is you take a nice sip, and then the flavor just kind of goes. That'll be a short finish. A long finish, it'll stay in your mouth. It'll develop all these different kind of flavors in it. And again, some people find that enjoyable. Other people don't find it enjoyable. So those are the 5 tasting metrics. So I
feel like you would really enjoy Scotch, and it's probably a good thing that you don't drink that much, because if you go out into Scotch, I feel like that would just take over your entire life.
Oh yeah, probably.
Because I feel like when I hear people talk about Scotch, it's all the same stuff. I try to taste that stuff, but I've never been, again, taught how to properly taste something.
Right.
So maybe I'll take some of this home when I get home and crack open a bottle of Scotch and take one of these papers with me and just get drunk.
So I'm going to fill both of our waters. So this is just rinsing water, just,
So don't drink it? Okay.
Don't drink the rinsing water. So what we'll do, since this is a shared tasting, is we will take, I'll just do a sample of the first coffee.
Okay.
We'll just take a little off the top and just kind of dunk the spoon in to get it to kind of form.
Okay.
And then just pour it into this. So
okay.
Like this. And dunk it like that. And then just kind of put it in rinse water. So when people usually do coffee tastings, cuppings,
Is that enough?
yes. So typically with a cupping, you're supposed to slurp as loud as you can because that aerates the coffee. Yes, into the mic. We want that ASMR. So you want to get as much air in as possible because that kind of explodes the coffee all over your mouth and gets all the flavor in there.
Okay.
So it's easier to do it with a cupping spoon. So, but we'll just try to slurp this as best as possible.
I'll let you go first so I can see proper slurping
Oh,
form.
jeez. All right, here we go.
Oh, so like, okay.
Yeah.
Like that.
So a big, just inhale it basically.
I feel like I'm going to choke.
So that's coffee number 1. So right now, we're just going to taste them. We're just going to go through the line. We're not going to note anything yet. We're just going to taste them.
Okay.
So just kind of note how that tastes, and then take a sip of water. So I already have some notes on this one. And then rinse the spoon, and then we're going to do numero dos.
This is number 2. Should I be smelling it first?
You can. That would be the aroma.
So should I just slug it back or should I like suck it in and swish it around a bit?
You kind of want to slurp in a way where it kind of explodes in
Okay.
your mouth, but then you just kind of swallow right after. So what's your initial thoughts between
slurp-
1 and 2? The difference now.
Number 2 seemed I feel like it seemed a little bit more mellow.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, cool.
Absolutely agree.
Nailed it.
Number 3. Oh my God.
So I want to slurp it so that it explodes in my
Yes.
mouth. All right. Is that the first time you've given somebody that advice, Dan?
Not the first time.
All right. What was your first time?
1975. Boy, that one, number 3, certainly was a coffee. What are you feeling?
What is that? That one is a little bit on the bitter side.
Oh yeah.
A little bit hints of rat poison.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
I knew it.
Oh, you like this one then?
That one was on the lighter side. A light body.
I found that one very pleasant.
That one
Number
actually
4.
wasn't bad. Yeah.
Number 5. Almost
Got a
done.
piece of coffee.
Yeah, don't mind the grounds. That'll happen.
This one, right? Yeah, that one was on the lighter body as well. I would say, definitely lighter body.
And then number 6.
Oh, I haven't been swishing my mouth out. Oh no,
Uh-oh.
we got to redo it.
That's fine. We're gonna go through it a couple times anyway. Fucking shit. That's good. That's a good one.
And the last one, right?
Yes, that's a fucking good one. Just want to drink that whole one. All right.
What the fuck was that?
What? You tell me. What flavors did you
That
feel?
was not. I don't think that was coffee, was it?
It is coffee.
Okay. Is it mixed with something?
It is. No.
All right.
That is the coffee from the bag to the grinder to the
Okay.
to the cup.
That was.
Yes.
It tasted almost like apple cider.
Yep.
In a
Very
sense.
fruity.
Yeah,
Fruity.
it was fruity.
When I first tasted a coffee like this, I just used the term like it just tasted like fruit juice.
Yeah,
And
that
people call me crazy when I say tastes like fruit juice. And that's the perfect quote unquote way to taste coffee, because that is exactly how the coffee tastes. Now, if I made that a pour over, it would probably taste a little different because I'm not perfect human. You know, I'll make mistakes and all that stuff, but this is the perfect way to taste a coffee. So
Yeah, that one was definitely interesting.
So now I say let's go through them one more time, and we're going to take note of the aroma, the acidity, and the sweetness.
Okay.
So
Aroma, acidity, and sweetness.
I'm going to rinse off my little cup here.
Oh, yes. Let me do the same.
Just a quick rinse.
So Dan, these are fun
These
little cups.
these are
Where'd these come from?
Nice cups. Some lovely chaps gave me these on their way back from a work trip.
Oh yeah, where was that work trip? Who were those lovely chaps?
Lovely chap is right next to me and in front of that camera over there. And you got these in Dubai. I don't know where in Dubai, but you got these.
I don't remember. Dubai was a blur. But that man, he looks like he could be my daddy. Hi, Dad.
So I'm going to take 2 spoonfuls for this one.
2 spoonfuls. Got it.
And now you really just want to just shove your nose in it and just see kind of how you feel about the aroma of this one.
Still feel like you're pulling one over on me.
That's like the best like compliment for this like coffee. And then just take notes. Is it a low kind of mellow aroma? Is it a bursting aroma? And then how much do you enjoy this aroma?
I would say this is on the lower side. So I'm going to give this like a number 1. Enjoyment, I'm indifferent. So I feel like I should also give that a, like a, I don't know, number 1.
And then when
Now
you're ready.
we do acidity.
Yep.
and
So try to
sweetness, right?
see. Yep. So just see how your mouth feels about the acidity, the acid of it, and then the sweetness of it.
All right, same thing. We're slipping it back, or okay.
I feel like that's a 2 in acidity.
Yeah, it's very low.
It's a little, but it's
Yeah.
not like not there.
Yeah, I can taste.
And I feel like I'm gonna take one more sip.
I will as well.
It's not unpleasant. I would definitely drink this one for caffeine.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Sweetness though, that's a different thing.
It's not very sweet, but it is very like mellow.
Yeah, so that would be, a low sweetness, but how much do you enjoy that kind of low sweetness of it?
I'm gonna give it a 2 on sweetness. I'm gonna give it a 2 on sweetness. How do I feel about it? It's not bad. I'm gonna put it right in the middle.
Now we're gonna go on to number 2.
Okay, and we're just noting these first 3 first.
Yep.
Okay.
Then
So
we're
we
gonna
doing
go through one more.
round? Okay.
We're
Oh,
gonna,
all right.
We're going to go through one more afterwards to kind of do the body and finish, because
Okay.
that way we can kind of have the coffee in our mouth for a longer time.
Got it,
And then
okay.
swallow. And then when we're done, we can go through one more time and then go backwards, because coffee is so coffee is like situational. So like if we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we're kind of comparing from the last coffee that we drank. So, when we compared, 4 to 5 to 6, that's going to be different if we drink it from 6 to 5 to 4.
That makes sense.
So
yeah.
it's very fun just to kind of go through it in an order and then just take that and reverse it.
Okay. Should I be rinsing this out each time?
Not each time, but every now and
I'm
then.
gonna give it a rinse.
So this is number 2.
Number 2. This one, right?
Yes.
2 spoons.
Made my notes. I'm gonna let you make your note first. Say how you're feeling about the aroma. What?
It has a little tiny bit more aroma than number 1.
And compared to number 1, how's that rate on 1 to 5 on enjoyment?
Enjoyment. I mean, I like a nice aromatic coffee, so I'm gonna put if number 1 was number 1,
Yes.
number 2, I guess, is number 2 for aroma. And then,
So for my aroma, I put 2 for the quantity, and then for the quality, I put it right in the middle. I put it as a 3.
okay.
Because I'm not, yeah, it's just how I feel.
Yeah, mine's 2 and 2.
And
It's a
then,
2.
so how are we feeling on acidity and sweetness now?
I haven't sipped it yet. I'm going to sip it right now.
We're going to be so wired after this. That's the fun thing about coffee cupping is afterwards, you're good for the rest of the day. You don't really notice like how much coffee you're drinking, even though it's small little sips. But there's a lot of caffeine in this coffee.
Yeah, there's a little tiny bit more acidity than the last one. Mm-hmm. Around similar sweetness, I think, as the last one. So I'm gonna rate it that way.
So as we're going through this, I want to tell a story about how I got into coffee.
Yes, please tell us
Because that was a fascinating adventure. I'm just going to cup some number 3 real quick. So I was bored one night. I think I was rendering something, or that's when Warp Stabilizer took like 20 minutes to analyze one clip. Okay. So I had a lot of downtime. And so I went on Reddit. I pressed the random button that they have, and it just took me to the coffee subreddit. And so I was like, all right, I don't drink coffee, whatever. But then like the first couple posts on it were about talking about like ratios and like, how's this for like a recipe for doing just normal pour over coffee. And I'm like, that's interesting. Like because in my mind, coffee was just kind of like, you just brew it. That's it. And you brew a coffee. Yep. It tastes bitter. It tastes like dirt, and it gets you wired. And that was it. But that kind of opened my mind to like, there was so much more to it. And this can go for a lot of things, like especially like craft beer. I've been in a kick recently about like discovering a lot of IPAs that I enjoy. Mm-hmm. And I didn't start like drinking IPAs until I was 30 years old. So last year. Nice. But there's just a lot that goes into it, and it's just kind of a cool niche thing to get into. Yeah. And it just feels rewarding when you kind of dial in everything correctly and just get it right, and you get your perfect cup of coffee. And I just found it really cool, and then that set me off to my coffee journey.
Yeah, mine was kind of similar. I didn't hit the random button on Reddit, but when we moved into our most recent apartment, it was just before COVID. It was December of 2019. Yeah, December 2019 when we moved in, and we didn't really have a coffee maker or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And kind of the same thing. Like I always thought that coffee, especially. My parents always went to Dunkin' Donuts, so I had Dunkin' Donuts coffee. Yeah. And then, I switched to Starbucks. I'm like, okay, cool. But when I started actually going to, local cafes that actually roast their own beans, I noticed a difference in the quality. I'm like, oh, shit, I want to learn how to do this at home. Oh, yeah. So when we moved in, I ended up just going down a rabbit hole of looking up, the best machines, the best grinders, what to get. And, I ended up with the Techniform and a Breville Smart Grinder. And I started picking up from local roasteries and just brewing my own stuff at home, and it's a complete different experience.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I'm on number 2 still. Whoops. Hang on. Let me finish this. This is number 3, right? Yeah. Yeah, I took it from there. Okay. Whoops. I forgot what the sweetness was. I had to put it at 2. That one's not very sweet.
Number 3?
Lower end, yeah.
I totally agree.
I'm going to throw that down to a 2 again, I guess. This one was a little more acidic. Hang on, let me take a listen.
What's the most you've spent on a cup of coffee? Like just any kind. It could be an espresso drink or just straight coffee.
Like the most that I've spent on a single cup?
On a single cup of coffee from a
cafe or something?
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like it's there's been a cafe where I've spent over $10 once. I'm trying to think. I know out in Seattle, it was a little bit more. When we were in Seattle for work, we stopped at a cafe. And
for sure, yeah.
it's Seattle, so
Of
cost
course.
of living's up there, and cost of everything's up there. But it's also like they're known for their coffee out
Coffee
there. So.
capital, yeah.
But I remember it being very good. That one, I gotta catch up to you.
Oh, it's okay. We don't have to go in the same pace. We're just
Yes,
kind
we
of taking
do.
our own mental notes here. The most I've spent on a cup of coffee was in Vermont. It was Vermont Artisan Coffee in Waterbury, right next to Stowe. And they had a special, I think it was a Tanzanian bean.
Oh, like peaberry?
And not the kind of bean that, it was expensive. And at first I thought it was one of those beans that like are eaten by an animal and then pooped out. 'Cause that's a thing. But it was the bag of coffee. I think for a full pound, it was like $80 or $90 for a pound of coffee. Wow. And the cup was, I think, like $8.50 for just a cup of coffee. Like just not no espresso, no like milk, just a straight cup of coffee. Done through. I think we got it done through the siphon though. That might have added to the cost.
Oh, nice.
But that was the most I've spent. Was $8.50.
Yeah, I've had Tanzanian peaberry coffee before, and it's definitely different.
That might have been what it was.
Yeah.
It's been so long since
Like
I
the
got it, but
beans themselves are like a little bit smaller and rounder, I think. Yeah, and it's good. It's a different experience. This one, not bad. I like the aroma here. Still not super aromatic. I'll give it a 3.
I kind of wait to catch up to you. Or for you to catch up.
That one's there's a little more acidity here.
Is that number 4?
Yeah. But I do like it. And
I agree.
It's definitely sweeter.
Yep.
And I'm gonna give it a 4 on the sweetness.
So number 4 for the aroma, I put a 2 because it's not very aromatic.
Yeah, it
but
isn't,
for
yeah.
the quality of it, I put a 4
Got it.
because I liked how it smelled.
I did. I put a 3 and a 3.
And then for
think-
acidity and sweetness, we're fairly high for me.
Yeah,
for number
same.
4.
Sweetness, I put a 4 and a 4 for liking it. I might change that. But,
Yep, no, that's exactly how.
And then
So I think we have the
acidity,
same taste in coffee.
Oh, acidity,
Yeah.
I have a 3 and a 4.
I have a 4 and a 5 for acidity.
Okay, nice.
For that one.
I feel like also I'm basing the aroma on the previous ones. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's why I'm kind of scaling it. I should probably stop doing that and just base it on the coffee itself. But the rest, the acidity and the sweetness,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm kind of basing individually. So
So go ahead to number 5, and then we'll go to 6, and then we'll just do one more round, and then we'll kind of reveal what the coffees are, and then we'll kind of just go through and just kind of taste them one more time. And now that you'll know what it is, you can kind of be like, all right, yeah, I see it.
all right, so 5. Whoops, spilled a little bit. It's not very aromatic.
Not very.
I'm gonna give it the low. And I don't hate it, so I'm not gonna put 1. But I don't hate it, so I'm not gonna put 1.
This is number 5.
Number 5, yeah.
Yeah, I put, again, low. It has a low, very, very kind of mellow aroma. I don't necessarily enjoy that, so I kind of put it down more.
That is definitely more bitter. Sweetness is low, and
Yep.
this particular one, not a big fan.
Yep.
Acidity, it does have a little bit.
And this is especially comparing it from number 4, because you just
Yeah.
had number 4, and then going from a very sweet cup to then a one that's not so sweet.
I give it a 2.
I'm curious to see afterwards we reveal. I'm curious to taste number 3 and then go back and taste number 1, or taste 3 and then taste 5, and see if that changes the perception of how sweet is this coffee, since now we're going to be tasting number 3, which I think we can both agree number 3 is very bitter. Very bitter, very dark.
Yeah.
So now number 6. How you feeling? You feeling wired yet?
Feel fucking wired, bro. All right, we're on to 6.
Number 6. Thrilling. Anyone listening to this in their car ride? How is this?
Yeah, should we be like describing how this looks and stuff to like people who are listening in the car?
That's a good question.
Forgot about those people.
This looks like coffee.
This doesn't smell like coffee.
So I think we'll begin to describe kind of like the flavor of it in this next.
It's more
round.
aromatic. It's definitely more aromatic.
So when we go through again with the body and the finish and the flavor, that's when we'll kind of start actually discussing the taste of the coffee,
Okay.
which will be a little more, I guess, interesting.
Definitely higher on the sweetness.
All right.
All right.
So we're going to actually start describing the flavor profile of it now. So
Okay.
this could be anything. Like I said before, I had a coffee taste like wood.
Okay.
You can use any word to describe a cup of coffee. You know, there are some that taste fermented, almost like kombucha. There's some that taste like mushrooms. There's some that taste like, you know, a lot of different things. So just we're going to go through it, and we're going to describe the body of it, how it feels in our mouth,
Okay.
the finish, and then describe what the actual flavor to us, because it's going to be different for everyone, how it tastes for us. Like what the actual flavor, just 1 or 2 words describing. It could even just be light, mellow, fruity, or it could be specific, like this tastes like watermelon, this tastes like, you know, dirt, this tastes like ice cream. Like
Okay.
it could be a lot of things.
All right.
So
I'm
we're
going
gonna
to
go through
switch
that.
my rinse cup.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
I've been using just this one here.
For sure. And we're going to cut for a second. Got to fix my shit. Oh, that's disgusting.
Yeah, that has notes of never do that again. And the finish is don't do that.
Yikes.
Let me cleanse my palate. Would you leave me? You that disgusted?
I'm fixing my hair, bro.
All right. Now that my palate has been cleansed. All right. So you said you want to go into a different order this time, right?
No, we're going to go through the same order
Oh,
first,
okay.
and then
And
we're
then
going to
we're gonna
kind of, we can just
mix
do
and match.
whatever
Yeah.
right after.
Okay.
So yeah, so body, how's it feel in your mouth? Is it light? Is it heavy? How much do you enjoy that? Finish, what are you left with after you swallow? Again, is it a big flavor? Is it a little flavor? And do you like that?
Okay.
And then just flavor. What does it taste like? Does it taste like artichokes? Does it like anything you can, that pops in your mind when you taste the coffee? And we'll just be thinking out loud for this one.
How many scoops should I scoop?
Just one's good, probably, for this.
Body and finish.
All right.
How does it feel in my mouth?
And just let it kind of linger in your mouth for just like a second or two.
Okay.
And then
I
give it a
switch it
swallow.
around like mouthwash?
No,
or-
just kind of just let it. Normally when you drink, just kind of just have it sit in your mouth
Sit.
and then
and
swallow.
then swallow. Got it.
So I do feel a tiny bit of body there. It's not like very light. Like
Yep.
using milk, I would say this would be like a 2% milk.
Yeah, agreed. It didn't feel very good in my mouth.
Yep.
Taste wise, let me take another little scoop here.
And the taste is very subjective. Like it can
Yeah.
be anything.
So it tastes kind of like old socks. A little.
Put that on your flavor.
Okay.
Put that on your flavor. Old socks. I was gonna say it tastes a little burnt, tiny bit burnt.
Better. Yeah, better. Body, we're doing low here.
See, for me, this has a very strong finish. because
It's
it is still
definitely lingering,
It is
yeah.
still in my mouth.
Yeah, it's still in your mouth. How does it feel?
Not very
How
pleasant.
does it feel? It doesn't feel good in your mouth? No? No?
Not very pleasant.
I have to agree with you. That's not
Yeah,
the first
very.
time I-
That one was a very strong finish. Yep, for sure.
Put that down number 1 for me. Didn't quite enjoy that. Overall, do we talk about the overall here?
Yeah. What would you rate that on a scale of 1 to 10 on your daily? 1 is I would only drink this at gunpoint. 10 is this could be my everyday drink. What would you rate number 1?
I mean, at gunpoint, it's a little exciting. I'd give it a 2. Maybe a 3. I'm going to do 2. Overall, 2 for number 1. Really hope that's not the one from Brood.
Yeah, that's a 3 for me. It's like it's not terrible. I would drink it. I'm basing like a 5 would be, if it was at a party, it's like okay, coffee. I'll drink some coffee. And then like when you get down to like 2 and 1 and like 3 and 2, it's like they have coffee. I don't know if I want to
Take
drink
a sip.
that.
Am I going to finish
Right.
this? Probably not going to finish it. I don't know if I'd finish that cup. I might, maybe.
Yeah.
But I already put a
Yeah,
2, so I'm not
that
changing.
was a 3 for me. So I would
Yeah.
I would drink it, but I would probably leave half of it because I would probably have just too much bitterness in my mouth. This is number 2.
That one, it didn't feel bad in my mouth.
I feel like this one had a lighter finish.
It did
compared to number
definitely
1.
have a lighter finish. Still there a little bit. Still there a little bit.
Yeah, it's funny. Mine disappeared like instantly. Like it's not in
me-
my mouth anymore.
Let me rinse.
Yeah, that one was a very, very short finish for me. But it's not unpleasant.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, not bad.
What would you peg that flavor as?
Let me take another sip.
Here's the interesting thing about these ones. I'm having a hard time pinning down a flavor for these. I would just say this tastes like coffee. Like it tastes like a diner coffee, It's not terrible.
It does taste like one that you would get at like a diner. You're
At
right.
a pretty good diner.
Yeah.
Not a great diner, but a pretty good diner.
Yeah.
I would yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 5.
I was just about to give it a 5 as well. That is like
Oh.
right middle, like that's
Nice.
decent coffee for me. It's pretty good. Not my favorite.
Yeah, the finish wasn't bad.
For my flavor, I put good diner.
My flavor. It doesn't taste like old socks, which is good.
That's good.
So not
Well, you're gonna
not old socks.
we'll have fun going to number 3 now. I feel like I'm only gonna have to do this once for number 3 here. Yep. Yep. Okay.
This one is burnt old socks.
Yep. So this is for me. This is a very, very heavy body.
Yeah, it's
Not 5. I put a 4 for my body. I'd rate this at about a 4.
I didn't really like it in my mouth.
Yep. Yeah, I'm
going
gonna
down.
do the finish is I think mid finish.
Yeah,
but
it's not as strong as
pleasant.
the which was it?
Yep.
Yeah, not as strong as number 1 for the finish, but
Yeah, a very medium finish, but on the negative side because it is just not pleasant in my mouth. I do not like that finish at all.
yeah. Burnt old socks.
Burnt old socks.
I'm gonna give that a 2 as well.
It's almost cardboard.
Ah,
A little
yeah,
bit.
There's
Yeah,
a little bit
I'm gonna
cardboard
put
there.
I'm gonna put on fire cardboard.
Cardboard on fire. Nice. All right.
Number 4.
Oh, got a rinse.
Yeah, definitely rinse after that one. All right, numero 4.
Excuse me, I'm a child.
I'm trying to pin that flavor on this. This has a very specific food flavor to me. I'm just trying to figure out what it is. This one. The other ones, I feel like the flavor just wasn't there. There was nothing that's like, this tastes like this.
Yeah.
I feel like this is one of those, I can actually taste something, but I'm trying to figure out what that is.
See if I can suck it out.
Maybe grape. It's like a little grape-ish. Like, it's not citrusy. It's sweet, but it's not in a citrus sweet. It's more, maybe that's it, like jelly almost, like grape jelly. Like you have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and you're tasting like a little bit of that. I guess tartness would be the way.
A tart, yeah.
Mine
a
is
little bit
the
tart. Trying to peg it down for me. I think
Yeah.
this is another not old sock. Not an old sock for this one. Jelly's good. Jelly's good. I can taste it a little bit. Let me give you another little whirl here.
For me, this has a medium finish too, but it's actually a pleasant finish.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Because it's a little lighter for me. Yeah, that's jelly. That's jelly to me. Which isn't bad. It's an interesting flavor.
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of grapiness there. I feel like I'd just be copying your answer if I say jelly, so I'm going to say
No, it's all right.
purple
Jam.
Kool-Aid.
Jam.
Jam, yes.
Marmalade. Wait,
Do you know the
marmalade.
difference between jelly and jam?
Mike's shaking his head, so I feel like I shouldn't answer that question. What's
Well,
the difference?
The difference is I can't jam the jelly down. I'm gonna. The difference is I can't jelly my cock down your throat. Where were we? Number
I
4,
should have
right?
figured. This is
right.
yeah.
You've never heard that one before?
No, I haven't.
Oh, wow.
So mine was jelly. So
Mine was jam.
You put jam, yeah. Sorry, for 5 and 6. I'll let you speak first.
Okay. All right. Yes, let's do that. I didn't put body down. Hang on. I like the finish. It was a little shorter, but still pleasant. Yeah, it's body. It felt decent in my mouth, but it wasn't a heavy body. So yeah. All right. 5.
Number
On to 5.
Yep. I already tasted that again, and I think I have a note for that one. Let me give that one more taste. I'm definitely feeling this caffeine, bro. It's starting to hit me like a truck. Okay. Yep. Yeah.
Let me hit that again. I'm trying to peg the flavor. Take a little bit bigger of a mouthful. I didn't rate the last one. I'll give it a 6. I'm picky.
So rated coffee number 3 at 2, 4 at 6.
Oh, yes, coffee number
5.
4.
What's this flavor for you?
I'm trying to pull that out. Tastes like coffee, slightly on the burnt side. Ever so slightly.
Write that down, yeah.
All right.
I'm getting a little bit of mulch,
Mulch.
like bark mulch.
Bark mulch. Okay.
I was trying to think of, like, is that hickory? Is it like but like not in a pleasant way. It's like if someone left bark mulch out in the sun, and it just kind of was sitting there for a good while. Yeah, not very pleasant.
Yeah.
Not very pleasant.
It's still better than, it's still a little bit better than number 1
Yep.
and number 3.
I agree.
But do I want to give it a 4? Probably not. Again, I'm picky. If I'm giving number 4 a 6, then I'd have to give this a 3.
Do it up. We're around the bend now, number 6.
Finish. It's still kind of there a little bit. So I'm going to put it medium, and I did not like it. Body. There was a body there. It felt like a dead body. Didn't like it that much.
That should be on the low end of the scale, just dead body.
Dead body. Yeah, is it too late to change my answer? Slightly burnt dead body.
Slightly burned dead body. That's number 5. And you take
Number
more stickers.
6. Again, that's very like apple-y. Apple, like almost like an apple juice.
Yep.
Apple juice.
Yeah, like a very sugary kind of juice. I'm getting a mix of either apple or blueberry. Not a lot of citrus in this one though.
Yeah.
Like usually with roast like these ones, number 6 is it's like citrusy, but this one it's more of a berry for me.
Definitely keep an apple juice. Like it's not bad. It's not bad. I'll give it a 6.5.
Very picky on your coffee.
I am extremely picky on my coffee.
So let me ask, what's your preferred coffee? What's your like
My
standard?
preferred. I
Light
do
roast,
like
dark
light
roast.
roasts.
Yep.
I do like light roasts. I usually get light roasts when I can. I just recently switched to a medium to give it a shot, and yeah, I like it. There's a little
Yep.
bit more. There's a little bit more body. Now that I have the correct terms, I can say these things.
Yeah.
A little bit more body to a medium
So
roast.
I rated 6 and 9. I fucking love this coffee.
9, really?
It may be me being biased because I know what it is, but I personally just really enjoy it. So for me, it's a 9.
give it another sip.
And it has for me, this one has a very light body, but I enjoy the body that it gives me.
I feel like I'm trying to compare them to the other
Right.
not so good coffees, and I feel like that's kind of skewing
Right.
This one and that one. So number 4 and number 6.
Yeah. Again, coffee is very relative. You know, we're going to compare our taste to the other one that we had.
I'm doing the thing again where I'm judging them on other coffees,
Right.
and trying to stay within a scale instead of judging it individually. So,
Yep.
In that case, I'm going to bump them both up a point.
Okay.
So we get 7 for number 4.
7 for 4, 7.5 for 6. All right. Should we do the reveal?
I'm scared.
Do the reveal now?
Do the
All right.
reveal.
Hold on, let me get it. All right. Coffee number 1. What'd you put for your notes?
Old Socks.
Old Socks. I put burnt. That is Honeydew Donuts.
Honeydew Donuts. Got
You
it.
can buy it at the grocery store. Typical grocery store pre-ground coffee. That's pretty much exactly what you wrote down. It's
Yep.
not very pleasant to drink.
Yeah, it was not. It was not.
Numero dos is Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons.
Tim
okay.
Hortons, all the way from my trip to Canada. They roast it in Canada, and I found Tim Hortons to be pretty pleasant to drink, actually.
Yeah,
The
it wasn't
coffee.
bad. It was.
Yeah.
I had 5 down, and I put not Old Socks, so that's actually good. I like
Yeah.
your analogy to it being like a good diner coffee.
Yeah. It was. It's really good iced, actually.
Yeah.
When we went during our trip to Canada, we stopped at a couple of them, and we got their just standard black iced coffee. Really cheap, by the way. I don't know if it's just because of the exchange rate right now, but it was like $2 for a
Really?
good iced coffee. And yeah, so it was just really, really nice. And it's really good hot, but it's really, really, really good iced compared to Dunks. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's really good, but compared to what we have right here, I think it's better. Number 3, you called it.
Burnt Old Socks, Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin's Midnight Dark Roast.
Okay.
I did not know when I picked this up. I thought I just grabbed these standard Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
And then I realized it was a dark roast. I'm like, you know what? This could work, actually. This would work. So let's going to put this in. You called it. It was a dark roast, and it was Dunkin's Dark. I think you actually specifically mentioned it was Dunkin's Dark. It was.
Nice. Nice.
So that's number 3.
Nailed it.
Yep. I did. What did I write down for that? Cardboard.
Yep. There we go.
All right. Number 4 is some of the good stuff.
Ah, yes. The Poet.
So this is the Poet from Brewed Awakening Coffee House. So this is organically grown and roasted in-house, I believe, at Brewed Awakening.
yes.
And you could automatically tell the difference.
Yeah, you could.
We
Yeah, going from
sampled
each to
3
each.
grocery-style coffees
Yeah.
that were ground who knows when and sitting in a bag for who knows when. And then
Whereas
you
this
get
was
a
brewed
fresh
very
bag
recently.
of coffee.
You
that
can tell
grind.
too, like just by looking at it, it looked fresher, and you can tell while you were brewing it, it seemed to have more of the bloom that you were talking
bloom.
about. So And
It smells very,
yes, notes
very pleasant.
Yes, notes of
Yes,
coffee.
this
and
was a
jam.
very, very good brew.
Yeah, I put down 7 for that.
This was the one that was a little jelly for me.
Yeah, and
Very-
this one
but it
was the
was
one that
very
was a
good.
little jam for me.
Yeah, very,
Yes.
very pleasant. I'm going to keep that. It's hard to stick these bags up. Number 5 is Mary Lou's, another kind of grocery store brand. You can buy them at Market Basket for
Yep.
$6 a bag. I think these are Mary Lou's is popular like south of Boston. Like
I think so. Yeah.
there's really none up here.
Yeah.
But that was a Mary Lou's. I put that for mulch.
I put that. That was a number 3 on my scale, and I said slightly burnt coffee.
And then number 6, the Tandem. So this is from Kenya. It is a washed coffee. They put their tasting notes on their bag too. So
okay.
they taste melon, raspberry, and lime. That's their tasting note. So I actually didn't read these before I actually tasted this. I never really read their tasting notes. So
It definitely tasted. It was
Melon,
it
raspberry,
stood
and
out
lime.
from the rest in taste wise.
it's different. It's very, very different.
Very different. I liked it. Give it a 7.5. I said it tastes like apple juice. The
Right.
first sip of that kind of took me back a little bit
Right. Yep.
because of how different it was from the rest of them.
It's so different.
And, yeah.
And this is a washed processed coffee. If I had a natural coffee, it would have been more fermented and it would have been an even weirder experience. Like a lot of people are wishy-washy if they, like some people really, really hate fermented coffee. I love it. It's basically the natural, it's not washed before roasting. It's very,
Okay.
very natural. So you get more just kind of
Oils
fermented
and-
noise, fermented notes in it. And it's
Okay.
just very pleasant for me, but not so much for other people.
Nice.
So that was it. Something interesting that I found though during this, when I actually bought all these,
Yes.
was I was looking at the. I was trying to figure out where these were actually roasted beforehand, the grocery store brands, and I looked at the Mary Lou's, and it says manufactured by Boston's best coffee roasters in 43 Norfolk Ave, southeastern Mass. And the Honeydew says it was manufactured by Interstate Gourmet Coffee Roasters, Southeastern Mass, 43 Norfolk Ave. And if you see the Mary Lou's, Boston's Best Coffee Roasters is a division of Interstate Gourmet Coffee Roasters.
No shit.
These were roasted in the same exact place.
Same exact place. Wow.
And so you'll actually see that with a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's a thing called private label. With other products, it could be called drop shipping. Basically, a place like Mary Lou's, a company like Mary Lou's, they contact this coffee roaster and say, "Hey, we want to sell coffee. We want to start making coffee." And the coffee company just has a lot of varieties to choose from. And so the people at Mary Lou's will be like, "Okay, I want this as our house blend." They'll do it up. They just have to send them a logo, and they print the bags up. I noticed it because the back of these bags looks
It does look
very, very
yeah.
similar.
Wow. Yeah.
So that was interesting to
That's crazy.
to find.
Yeah.
So it's all about the illusion of choice. You never know. That's why I always, and I will, beat this to death to just really support the local guys.
Yeah.
Because you know exactly, if you reach out to the owners of these places, they know exactly where the beans are coming from. They know exactly where they were roasted because
Yep.
chances are they're roasted in their actual shop.
Yep, I know that for Brood, Andy will actually go visit sometimes different
Yep.
countries.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah,
taste
a lot
some
of these.
the,
Yep. Yeah, same with Tandem. They always post on their social medias about
Yeah.
visiting the actual places, and they're, a lot of places like Tandem and Brood are all about the sustainability of coffee and
Yeah.
just making sure that every step into your cup is spread out and paid well, because a lot of people don't think about the farmers who pick the beans. They're
Exactly,
they're
yeah.
not paid well in a lot of places. So it's really nice to just kind of support people who
Yeah.
who just stick with the fair trade kind of thing. And
Yeah.
you do pay more, but you get such a beautiful cup of coffee with it.
You do. And as you can see, it stands out from the rest.
It
based off of our notes.
definitely does. Yeah.
And going back to what you were saying, like these two, they come from the same place.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they pump these out at such a large scale.
Yep.
Like there's they're in different countries,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure that some of their work ethics aren't quite there. I
Right.
feel like these people are being overworked for a shitty bag of coffee, just
Right.
for convenience.
Yep.
Where again, like you were saying, if you go to a local roastery, you know that there's ethics involved,
Mm-hmm.
and that they actually go to the places to, like, you know, try and taste and meet the owners of these farms and stuff like that, and see how
Right.
you know they treat their workers and stuff. And yeah, they don't just put their own label on somebody else's bag,
Right,
And,
yeah.
try and sell it. So
Yeah, so there is a possibility. I don't know if it's true because they're probably not going to, you know, if you reach out to Honeydew Donuts or Mary Lou's, they're not going to
Yeah.
tell you exactly what their house blend is. But I got, you know, these are the house blends.
okay,
There is a chance that Honeydew's house blend is the same exact blend of beans as Mary Lou's.
Yeah.
And they could vary in different pricing just based on the brand. And that can go for a lot of things, clothing, cars, all that thing. Like it can be the same stuff, but the price is different just because of the brand. So just something to look out for when you're buying coffee.
Yeah.
See where it's made because who knows? Like half of the coffee beans in your grocery store can be just pumped out from the same exact place.
yeah. There's a couple of nice roasters around, like obviously Brewed, Tandem. There's one in Nashua, King David's Roasters. He's been in the game for
Yeah, yeah.
years. His stuff is usually pretty good. And then there was Tiny Arms. It used to be down in Western Ave Studios,
Yeah.
down in Lowell. But they ended up selling their location, but I think they still make it out of like their house or something like that, or they have a smaller
Oh, nice, yeah.
location because there used to be like a coffee shop that you can go into and get coffee as well
Right,
as
yeah.
like freshly roasted stuff. But now they only just ship coffee from their house. so,
nice.
yeah, but they're pretty good too.
Yeah, there's a lot of good places around this area. One of my other favorites that I didn't get a chance to really have a lot of it, a place called Horseshoe up in Newmarket, New Hampshire. The owner, it's a husband and wife couple. The owner, you walk in and he has the roaster like literally right there.
Nice.
Like you walk in the roaster and you can see him roasting beans. He hand inspects basically every single bean that goes into that roaster. And he said in an interview once, he's like, yeah, I blame that on my Japaneseness because they're just so strict on like doing everything right.
Yeah.
And so he would hand inspect every single bean. And they've unfortunately like just recently closed down because they're moving to Japan. So I'm hoping they keep making coffee and I can order some because like
Yeah.
their bags are really good. And it's really interesting to just go to all these different places and see what kind of setup they have because you know you could have people roasting from their own house,
Yeah.
but they make really really good coffee versus you know these companies that have these big fancy equipment but the coffee's not great because
Yeah.
they're just kind of you know
They're pumping out in
doing
volume
it per match.
yeah.
Per for the biggest batch you can.
There's no quality
Right.
check.
Yeah. Doing it for quantity is not really the best to do for food. I mean, yeah, that's for
Yeah.
any kind of food really. You try to look for smaller places to get your food in, and it'll just taste better.
Yeah. Well
Yeah.
said. Very well said.
Yes, sir. So yeah, how was your first cupping experience with 4 grocery store brands and 2?
It was
Good
actually
coffee.
a lot of fun. I learned so much that I can take back, and now I feel like I'm going to take this sheet back and go home. I'm going to crack open an IPA and start with that, and then I'm going to crack open my Scotch and start with that. Maybe finish with some wine. I hope we really don't have anything tomorrow because I'm going to take the day to recover, I think. But yeah, I'm going to bring this back to.
I think it'd be really fun at some point to actually do a cupping with like 4 good cups.
Yeah.
Like because
Yeah.
at least for me, it's like for 1, 2, 3, and 5, I could not do any taste. It was burnt
Yeah.
socks, good diner coffee, cardboard, mulch.
It would be kind of fun to maybe see if one of the roasters would be down to be on like the podcast and do like
That
a
would
cupping
be-
with us
that would
and
be nice.
have like 5 or 6 different local roasters.
That would be nice because they could actually give us some really good insight that I can't
Yeah.
give you.
Yeah.
Because I just do this for fun. I'm not a professional.
But no, it was
I
a lot of
probably said a lot of things wrong, but that's okay. We had a good time.
yeah, we did have a good time.
But yeah, it would be interesting to try this with a lot of different good coffees because then you get
Yeah.
into, hey, this tastes like wood, but it's a very nice wood. It's like, if you smoked
like oak.
If you smoked a ham or something or whatever,
Yeah.
it's like that tastes like that instead of tastes like bark mulch.
Yeah. No, it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
Definitely learned a lot.
Glad you enjoyed yourself.
I thought you were just pulling one over on me the entire time, and you're like, "Yeah, no, these are all the same cup of coffee. You're a fucking liar. You don't
we don't know
burnt
about
sock."
we don't know about 1 in 5. Who knows?
Oh,
But
they are the same coffee. That's true. I called it.
Maybe
Called
they
it.
come from the same place. They
Yes.
might not be the same kind of beans. Mary Lou's technically says it's a combination of Colombia, Brazil, and Central America. That could mean a lot of things.
It could.
You know, that like there's a lot of countries. There's a lot of places.
It
you
seems
can
like
get
they just
coffee.
take it where they can get it, and then they just slap it in the bag.
Yeah, that's your standard Arabica blend. Is just those kind of regions. So, but yeah, I'm glad you had a good time, and hope you learned something. And
I did. I learned
It'd
not to
be-
drink the rinse water.
yes, don't do that. And I learned really not to try the Dunkin' Dark Roast. I'm going to do that again though. Just because I hate myself.
I'm gonna go back and take some of that tandem.
That's fucking awful. I'm going to do one more sip of the tandem. I'm going to try to do an actual sip with the spoon. People sip when they sip coffees like an actual tastings.
The spoon.
They are loud as fuck. Like,
Yeah.
It like echoes. I can't do it.
Let me do that. Oh wow.
I can't do it. No, it
Sounds like you're sucking back some
it'll sound like a
escargot.
if you do it correctly, it's more like whistling. Like it's very like it's very loud.
I'm just so afraid of it just sliding down my throat and
Oh, yeah.
making me cough.
That's another kind of mouthfeel.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Glad you had a good time.
I had a great time. Just try and slurp that in.
That was fun for us.
I'm not going
No,
to sleep tonight.
You got it. No, I'm fucking feeling this, dude. I am feeling this. Good thing we didn't do this with beer.
That's next tasting.
That's next time.
Yep.
You get to see Dan in a new light.
But this was a lot of fun. Any last words?
Support your local coffee roaster, support your local farm, and support your local companies in general. And
local.
shop local.
Yeah.
We have a good tagline.
Fuck these guys.
They're decent in a pinch, but definitely go out of your way to find some good coffees because I always thought I would hate coffee because I was just drinking, the random stuff from the grocery store. And then when I actually started to go out and actually get coffee, it's like, shit, I love this.
It's a whole new experience. Yeah.
It is. Yeah. And same thing with beer. If you drink Bud Light your whole life and then you go to Vermont, they have so much great breweries out there.
They do.
And it's like,
Yeah.
wow, that's why I haven't drank for, all my life, basically. It's like, no, this doesn't smell good. This doesn't taste good.
Yeah.
And then, I go to Vermont so often, it's like, they have a lot of craft breweries and I should probably go in.
They do, yeah.
And then I walked in, I'm like, you just smell the hops. We went to Alchemist,
That's a great,
very
yeah, that's
famous
a
place.
great
I
place,
have a bunch in my fridge now.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to read your fridge.
just the hop smell when you
Yeah.
enter that building. I'm like, oh my God, am I going to like this? And then tasting that, it's a whole different experience. when
Yeah, I
you actually
remember-
support a local place.
Yeah. I remember same thing like Bud Light, Budweiser. I remember I was fairly young though when I tasted my first IPA. I was still in high school, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like 17, probably like 16, 17. And it was from Harpoon. And I took the first sip and I'm like, what beer can taste like this? What the fuck
Yeah.
is this?
Oh, yeah.
And then that just got me hooked and I've been an IPA guy ever since.
Yeah, and that was the same with coffee. I drank a light roast, and I was like, oh my God, this is coffee. Like,
Yeah.
you had that same reaction. You didn't even believe that this one was
I
coffee, just because
honestly
it was so
thought
different.
that it was like apple juice or something.
It's such
Yeah.
a different taste, and that's not even the craziest. We'll be sure to I'll have to bring in a natural at some point because that's a whole different flavor.
I'll bring in some peaberry.
I'll also try to find a robusta.
Yeah.
Because you have the two different kind of coffees, the Cafe Arabica, which is all these are Arabica, and then the Robusta, they're grown at a lower altitude. You
Okay.
can usually find them, it's like your Ugandan coffee. They're mainly used for espressos, like espresso drinks, but they are, I don't want to call it dark, like a dark roast, but it's just such a different, it's like a woody, very dark, full-bodied taste. It's really interesting. So I would love to try a Robusta and a natural with you.
So it definitely sounds like we're doing this again.
I'd love to, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Let us know if you wanna-
bring a couple more people on. We'll have a nice little party.
We will have a party. Yeah. Let us know if you want to see us do this again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope
'Cause
you,
we're
enjoy,
gonna do it
I hope you
regardless.
enjoyed listening to us slurping for an hour.
I'll never get sick of that noise.
Put this on repeat.
Excuse me. You know, Dan, I learned something else today.
Yeah? What'd you learn?
I learned there's a technique to slurping and not to do what I just did. I'm learning a lot of what not to do.
I'll take note of that.
Yeah, take note. All right, but yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for opening me up to this experience.
You're
Dan,
welcome.
Because I just learned about this experience last week when we talked about doing this.
Yeah.
I had
for
no
sure.
idea that cupping was a thing, and I see what I'm missing now.
For sure.
Yeah.
Support your local roaster. Yeah. That's it. That's the message. Have a good night.
Have a good night. Have a good night. So there you have it. This is the cupping experience with the Master Dan, Master Cuppist Dan. Thank you, Dan, for doing this.
You're welcome.
I've learned a lot. We hope that you learned a lot as well. Let us know down in the comments if you want to, see us cup again. And make sure to hit that like button and subscribe because every single week we're going to be pumping out new episodes of If I Were to Have a Podcast. So thank you again for watching and have a nice day.
If I were to have a podcast.